Hey guys, welcome back to another cooking video with your one and only Claudie Cooks in the kitchen. It's this kind of day where I'm fancying some fried dumpling, so let's make some together. Let's go. Okay, let's start off by sifting 2 cups of plain flour, and we're sifting the flour just to give some air and lightness for the fried dumpling. So let's do it. Right in with the rest, followed by 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Now 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just going to give that a little mix just to incorporate the flour, the baking powder and the salt together. And to that we're going to add 2 tablespoons of diced unsalted butter. Of course you can use salted butter, but I'm using unsalted because I've already added salt to the flour. Time to rub in the butter into the flour. We're trying to get like a breadcrumb type texture. And we need to have the butter cold because this will help you to create that breadcrumby texture that I've just mentioned. Okay, that's what it's looking like now. And I should also add here as well that some people put sugar into the fried dumpling, but I never saw my grandmother or my mama aunt did this. We usually leave that for when we're making festivals. So yeah, so I'm just trying to do it as traditional as I can. And you can use plain water here as well, but I'm using a combination of coconut milk and water, and I'm using just under a cup of water. And we're just going to bring the water and the dough together. And you can also just use plain water. I've done with the water and the coconut milk, and I've done just plain water. So it's not necessary to use any form of milk when you're making dumpling, but of course if you like it then you can do so. Right, I'm just going to keep kneading that until I get it into a nice ball. Just a side note as well, if you put a bit too much water and it's really sticky, all you have to do is add a tablespoon of flour to it and it will be fine again. So that's why it's important to just put the water a bit at a time, so you're a bit more in control of the water and that you're not using too much. But sometimes that happens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover this and I'm just going to set this aside for about 30 to 60 minutes, just so the dough relax and becomes more pliable when we're rolling them into balls to make the dumpling, and this will help the dumpling to be really nice and fluffy and crispy on the outside. You can leave it for longer, but I'm going to leave it for about 30 minutes to an hour. So I'll see you when I'm frying. Okay, this is an hour since I've been resting it, and I'm just going to sprinkle some flour on this clean and disinfected work surface, and I'm just going to pop that on there, and I'm just going to give it a little roll. I'm just going to cut these into the sections. We're just going to roll these into little balls. We're just going to rest them on the plate, and we're just going to continue until we roll all of these into balls. Okay, this is the last one. And I've dipped my fingers into some olive oil just to make the molding a little bit more seamless. Okay, perfectly shaped dumpling. And I'm just going to cover this and I'm just going to let it sit for 10 minutes before I fry them. And make sure it's a clean tea towel. Okay, it's time to put the dumplings in. I've been heating up this oil on very low for the last 10 minutes because we don't want the oil to be scorching hot and burn the dumplings before they get to fry on the inside. And before I put the dumplings in, I'm just going to do a little press just to make an indentation so that the dumplings are cooked through. Just going to do them all. We're going to fry all of the dumplings on each side for about 2 minutes and then flip them over onto the next side and on the sides to make sure they are cooked thoroughly and nice and golden brown. So we're just going to let those fry on a slow and low heat, and then when it's 2 minutes, then I'll come back and flip them over. So if you want to have some idea about the temperature range, it's about 175 degrees Celsius, and that's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a low and slow temperature because we want the dumpling to be cooked through. See you in a couple of minutes. Okay, I have turned these about 3 times already, and I'm trying to give them about 12 minutes in total until they're all thoroughly cooked through. And what I've also done in this cooking process as well, I put a lid over the dumpling just to make sure to get some steam in as well and make sure it's cooking well. But you don't have to do that. I don't often do this. I just normally just fry them without that, but I just want to make sure everything is cooked through properly. Okay, these have been frying for about 14 to 15 minutes, and now I'm just going to drain them on a wire rack to drain away any excess oil from the dumpling. And there you have it, guys, my Jamaican fried dumpling, crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, which I will be serving with some ackee and saltfish and okra, fried plantain and vegetables. Enjoy!